Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to title this video Say Hello to My Little Friend. Now, many moons ago when I was in the army, obviously it came via obviously giving the storeman crate of beer, and he got it written off. Buckshot. I've had one before, not to the same quality and sharpness as this, but people are calling this the MOD Survival knife now, and again, I always knew it as knife utility, and you'd find it, certainly in Germany was the first time I saw one, in the toolboxes of most armoured vehicles and Land Rovers and 1-tonnies, part of the vehicle kit. But here we go, ladies and gents. It's John Adams, totally vindicated, Sheffield steel, made in England, but this isn't how you would buy one. Now, I'll say straight away, because I checked before I come out, if you want one of these, you can pay £90 from Heine Haynes, okay, and they come in a really naff sheath. Like I say, this wasn't meant to be carried on the belt or anything like that. It saw me through my whole army career. I used to carry it in the side pouch of the Bergen, and it done me for everything. I will link downstairs, if you've got an interest in this knife and you're just watching my video for the first time, or you're not subbed to me, very early on when I got into bushcrafting, I'll give a bit of a sit-down talk and a little bit of knowledge about this knife, primarily because there was a guy in Canada that was comparing the standard issue MOD knife to a Becker BK2, and it's like totally different concepts. This is meant to be a tool for hard use all the time, getting very little servicing. Now, at the end of an exercise, all the stuff would be pulled out of the vehicle, oiled up, put back, ready to go. But so again, I've always loved the, well, I'm going to call it the MOD knife. It comes made to a standard, made to an order. Come on, Baldy, where you go, where you go. That's right, just Baldy, me dog. Go away. Try and cut that bit out. And you don't see them like that, ladies and gents. I've got Al with me today, and I'll show you the sheath later on, but I just want to show you the knife. So that is your basic MOD survival knife, and obviously it's got the crow's foot, John Adams, Sheffield steel, and as you can see, this one's well used, but it's got the carbonised on the blade, which is fair enough, and it's got a well, almost like a sword tang there. Now in the army, this thing we call it a number one. That means the best you can do, the top end of the kit. So Dandy Landy, I'll put his Etsy shop details below. He gets these knives, and he virtually, what I will describe as tickles with him or gives them a number one. Now, just because it's got the black handle, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on what contract and which service they went to. So Army, Navy. I know the Air Force had a slightly different version, MOD type C knife or D, that was more like a bushcraft knife, but this is just a workhorse, and it's like a pry bar. It is seriously indestructible. But so I just want to show you what Dandy Landy will do. So there's the original, and that's how he has them dressed up, or as I would call it, doing a number one too. He's put a beautiful edge on it, taken all the carbonisation off it, and again, these things you will not want shaving sharp, because the first time you welly something with it, you're going to lose that or just roll the edge. But it's got a beautiful edge on it. I've got a little cut from last time I was over there, and I'll do a little bit of shaving upwards just to show you what you can do. But with me, for me, if I'm bringing this out, I wouldn't need to bring a small forest axe or anything like that, because this tool will do a lot of jobs, and it's meant to be like a tradesman. It can do a lot of jobs, but none of them perfectly. But again, for me, this would be one of my go-to knives, and it's the second one I bought. Now, I was at the Preppers meet, I'd conversed with him, and I just thought, I haven't been to many none of us have been to many bushcraft things this year because of lurgy, and he sells them for £75. Now, I would imagine if you got somebody to take it from there to there, they'd want a few bob for doing that, and it's a beautiful bit of work. And also what he does do, and I will show you, is a little divot in there, okay? If you need to, you can put your thumb in there when you're choiling down, and you're just using this, because this is the bit where I'd have razor sharp, that bit not razor sharp, but just to a good point, and then that bit razor sharp. But here, obviously, If you imagine that being a ferrule rod, and I'll show you in a second, it gives it a beautiful, and where you got your ferrule rod there, the knife tip hits the ground first, yeah, it's not going to damage the knife, and it doesn't smash all your tinder bits. You know, when you see somebody just doing that, the tinder goes all over the place, ladies and gents. So that's the purpose of that there, and it really does work really well. So there's a guy, Dandy Landy, he gets them in, he has them dressed up or number one, and he sells them for 75 quid. Now when he sells them, he also gives you an MOD frog bayonet. Okay, I'm a rifleman, so I would always call it a sword. Goes back historical, and these things will cost you between 8 to 10 quid, and it's brand new. And this is how you get it from them, because the sheaths that they come with, and they're very flimsy leather thing, and not actually fit for purpose, to be perfectly honest. But again, it's they're always left-hand carry, and they're meant to be thrown in a vehicle toolbox and stuff like that. Obviously jungle, no, unless you're taking it over there, but Arctic, they were issued to Arctic troops and that type of stuff for digging snow holes and all types of stuff. But like I say, it's it will attack all jobs, but may not be a master of anyone in particular. But if I only had, and there were many times where I was in difficult situations. I went through an army career with this knife, and again I put my own edge on it. I wasn't capable of like taking the deparkerization and stuff like that off it, but what I do like, and I didn't think I'd like it, it's still got the finger guard on the bottom, but that one on the top there, as you'll see, it's been ground down, and that just makes it much more bushcrafty and allows you to get over there. And like I say, when you chaw down on something, I believe that's the term, that really helps having that there. Right, so ladies and gents, if you wanted to go and pay 90 quid Arnie Haynes, and you can get them a little bit cheaper anywhere, but they still hold. When one of these comes up on a bushcraft trade post, they go very quickly. But yeah, you can pay 90 quid for one, 80 quid for one, but for 75 quid I was like, you're having a laugh, mate, especially when they've done all the work to it to get it to this standard. And he wants, I believe his starting price, you know, in the order of 75 quid, and it comes with a sheath as well. And these will cost you 8 quid to anywhere between 8 and 15 quid, depends on where you're looking for on the internet. Beautiful little knife, proper, robust. It is a tank. The other guy, the Canadian guy, it's many moons ago, he was comparing that to something like a Becker BK2, which were just all the rage at the time. And you know, as I said to him, it's like trying to compare an E-type Jaguar to a transit van, you know, and the two just don't complete. And this one's been in service, you know, for many years in the armed forces, and served people really well. So I do and always will have an affinity with this knife, and you know, it's I had some birthday money, I thought, you know what, I'll have one of these. But in all honesty, ladies and gents, you know, tightwad is my name, and it's still part of the game. I've got some lovely knives, and I think we all have a little passion for knives and sharpies, don't we? But if you had to, you said to me, which one, I'm going to dump you off in the middle of nowhere, that and a small Mora, which I used to carry tucked into the inside of my smock, that and a small Mora as a backup, you could drop me anywhere on this planet, and while I wouldn't be a happy puppy, I'd have the abilities and the tools to do wherever I needed. I mean, for digging, for shelter building, it will replace a small axe. It will do some fine work, especially when Dandy Landy's dressed them up like that, and that is a lovely sharp edge. I'll drop some pictures, close-up pictures in at some point during this film, and obviously some, I mean, I made some feather sticks. I'm not brilliant at feather sticking and all that, but he's brought the MOD, I'll say survival knife, because that's what everybody's calling it now, bang on into, you know, the 21st century. Beautiful bit of kit, 75 quid. I paid me money for this, so let your eyes be your guide, as I always say. If you want to go and get one, but get one that's been proper poshed up, or as I would call it, a number one, visit his site, you know, and contact him, nothing to do with me, if you want one. But I paid 75 quid for this, and yes, I've got a load of money. Obviously he does a lot of work on the handles as well, because again, people think, oh, they've done that where the scales hang over. Now a lot of the time in cold weather, as you know, when you grip it, your hand's going to freeze to the knife and it's not what you want. Okay, so the scales are oversized, and you know, we're in the comfort zone here now, so he's sanded all the scales down. And I will do with this what I used to do with my other one, get a piece of inner tube and slip the inner tube down there, and I put myself a little tie off on the bottom of this. And again, I always thought the inner tube down there, and actually I used to hide some matches in there as well. I'm digressing now anyway. Even in the wet, the inner tube, the rubber will help you, you know, keep a grip on the knife. And also, if you need to, as we all know, rubber in a tube, it will burn in most conditions, especially when everything's wet. But so I'm going to do this in two phases, ladies and gents. Just showing you the John Adams military knife, how Dandy Landy takes them and then gives them a number one, and still only charges just 75 quid with a decent sheath. Again, that's ours one, so that's the original, untouched but well used. These things are meant to be used, they're meant to be hammered. I've never ever seen one broken, and I'm not sure you could. In the original film, you know, if you've got an interest in this one, hit the link below, because there was a time in Northern Ireland where we had an officer, new young officer, new young officers when you're in Ireland are always told to you know, rely on the experience and knowledge of your junior and certainly your senior NCOs when you're out there in the cuds. Long story cut short, he wanted to set up an OP in the most obvious place of all, a little barn. I was like, no boss. He was going, and I went, well, you know, go ahead, you know, but I'm going to put some obviously cover teams in. And go ahead, sir, go up and check the building then. So you go and open the door, because I'm not doing it. Long story cut short anyway, with a knife very similar to this, I chipped away at some of the old, it's only single brick, big old barn. It did overlook the OP point, but it was so obvious, it was just unreal. And you know, soldiers are all like nodding dogs now. So I went up to the side of the building anyway, and took a few, banged it in there, you know, so I'm taking bricks out of a building, banged enough just so he could get his little head in there. And I said, have a look through the, you know, and so he's had a look through the hole in the brick wall, and he's going, well, I said, no, go in there. So see the big doors where the tractor comes in, the big double doors, have a look there. And then there was a smaller door over the other side, and yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they were booby trapped. I was obviously right, because there's no such thing as a thick paddy. The IRA are very, very capable of what they were doing. And yeah, so we had to get the Royal Engineers in, and you know, the officer looked good, but he looked good because he took some advice from some of his junior NCOs, and I was a corporal at the time. Anyway, but if he wanted to go in this place, he was doing it on his own. There you go, boss, gone. But we was probably going to raffle his kit later on. And here we have Mr. Baldrick's just put an appearance in. Right, ladies and gents, just wanted to show you this knife, and yeah, because if you want a very top end one, it's 75 quid, and you see these things like that selling for, you know, 60, 75 quid on the Bushcraft trade post. Right, Baldrick, come here, come away, over there, go on, away, come on, spoiling the film. Right, ladies and gents, this is somewhat like the sheath that the original would come in. This is one of the earlier versions, and Al's got two, so he's just shot me this, which is really nice. These are a lot better quality than the sheath that he comes with, which is just meant to be a cover as such. And so from now on, my one will be kept in this, and I'm proper liking that. So thanks, Al. Again, that's one of the better issue ones. I'll try and get a picture of the floppy ones that are they normally come with nowadays. But ladies and gents, when you get this, and like I say, Dandy Andy does give you, there is nothing wrong with keeping your knife in there. There's no dramas once it's pushed in, and it can be anyone, you know, it's there. It's not, well, you can put it on your belt if you want, it's up to you, but designed to go, you know, very handy inside a rucksack, get it out, do your chopping, wood preps and all that type of stuff. But that's not coming out of there, and I'm not holding it either. So that, you know, the sheath, a bayonet frog, unless you've got loads and loads of money, you could have a custom one made, perfectly adequate. And even if you've already got one of these knives, get yourself a bayonet frog, because they're much better. But yes, I'm So thanks, Al, I do appreciate that. I'll get some knees football on that, bring that up nicely. And I'm going to make myself a cover for the whole knife, and have a pouch on the front with a few items in it. I'm just going to kind of recreate what I did many moons ago, because like I say, this is a trip down memory lane for me, ladies and gents. But anyway, MOD Survival knife. Guys dressing them up, you know, really bringing them into the 21st century, and he still wants, you know, in the order of 75 quid. So just imagine there, tightwad, that and a Moray you can get for 100 quid, and it will see you through any scenario I can see anybody having anywhere on the planet, to be honest. So that's just the two knives. Right, ladies and gents, again, if you've got an interest, go and have a look at the guy's site. I don't care where you buy one from, I'm getting no kickback on, I think, but when somebody does some work like that on a knife and then still wants 75 quid every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. Say, ladies and gents, it's a very capable knife, especially when it's been sharpened up as it has been. I mean, my idea on this is that bit very sharp, that bit for just hacking and shacking, and that bit, if needed be, again, sharp as you like, but for doing fine and delicate work. Again, I'm not going to sit here all day and show me do like my Ponzi feather sticking, but again, just to give you an idea, if you've not seen the knife before, all knives can do basically the same thing, just depends how much you pay for them, to be honest, and how much you can rely on them. And you can see the strength of that blade. Like I said, I welded through a brick wall because I needed to see what was inside of a building one time. I'm not going to bore you to death showing you, hitting pieces of wood or making well, I'm doing it now, like 10 pegs or whatever. But if I needed some wood to tinder to get a fire going, as you can see, that's a lovely bit of hardwood, proper seasoned, I've got plenty there. It's a very capable knife. What you do with your knife is up to you, so I'm not going to bore you by showing you what you can do with this knife, because you can do the same with all knives. It all depends what you pay for them and what quality the knife is. And ladies and gents, for £75, let your eyes be your guide. Right, ladies and gents, all I'm going to do is, I'm not going to start showing people how to make a fire, because you've all done it before. I've got a bit of damp ground here anyway, but let's just see how the thing will do with a ferro rod. Make sure I'm in shot. No dramas on that, ladies and gents. Don't want to start a fire. It is a pine wood, and just for the purposes of showing you that the spine does work, and the little divot as well, I don't really want to be chancing making a fire. It's very warm weather here. As you can see, it's got no dramas anywhere up and down the spine of the knife. But what I will say, what he's done is, see the divot there? There's your tinder. If you do that, and you draw it down at an angle as opposed to being flat, it don't smash your tinder butt to bundle to bits. But yeah, ladies and gents, so let your eyes be your guide. MOD knife there, bloody good bushcrafting knife, 75 quid, or you can buy it anywhere, but I'm showing you the knife here. But like I say, this guy does a good #1 on it, and still only wants a pittance really, to be perfectly honest. But ladies and gents, MOD knife, let your eyes be your guide.